and large defection of his youthful urban support base. His pivot to the interior without yield any fruit. Is division in the opposition enough for WEAH to clinch a second term? Join me, Menipake Dumoy, as I analyze the twists and turns on the Dumoy factor this and every weekday from 10 a.m. to 11. Can George Manuel WEAH pull it off again? Can the discredited footballer turned politician turned president secure a second term despite hardship and large defection of his youthful urban support base? His pivot to the interior without yield any fruit. Is division in the opposition enough for
everything must change, everything must change. What is it that makes a person want to stay in power forever? What is it that makes
a second term? Join me, Menipake Dumoy, as I analyze the twists and turns on the Dumoy factor this and every weekday from George Manuel WEAH pull it off again? Can the discredited footballer turned politician turned president secure a second term despite hardship and large defection of his youthful urban support base? His pivot to the interior without yield any fruit. Is division in the opposition enough for WEAH to clinch a second term? Join me, Menipake Dumoy, as I analyze the twists and turns on the Dumoy factor this and every weekday from 10 a.m. George Manuel WEAH pull it off again? Can the discredited footballer turned politician turned president secure a second term despite hardship and large defection of his youthful urban support base? His pivot to the interior without yield any fruit. Is division in the opposition enough for WEAH to clinch a second term? Join me, Menipake Dumoy, as I analyze the twists and turns on the Dumoy factor this and every weekday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Good morning and welcome to a brand new edition of the Dumoy Factor. Let me apologize yesterday for the early end of the show because we had some technical issues. This morning we're set to go. Alexander Benedict Cummings addressed the nation, responding to the President's State of the Nation address. I have maintained on this show that the SONA, or the State of the Nation address, done by George Manuel WEAH, was a mixture, a combination of lies, exaggerations, and empty promises. Lies, exaggerations, and empty promises. But this morning, I'll play you a clip of Honorable Alexander Benedict Cummings' reaction to the State of the Nation address. He is the only leader in the opposition. This is the only man who shows up for the job every time. When COVID was raging through Liberia, Alexander Cummings showed up. When George Manuel WEAH stood up and lied to the country, because Joseph Newman BOAKAI and them are collaborating with the government, he chose to give a low-profile response. Alexander Benedict Cummings showed up for the job. I will play you his response to the State of the Nation address, and then we'll get into analysis of that and the three reasons why I believe Cummings will become president in 2023.
All right. We should be undertaking truthfully. On Monday, January 24, 2022, President George WEAH was not truthful when he said, and I quote, "I can state categorically and with confidence that the state of our economy is stable and growing, and that the state of our nation is peaceful and strong, unquote. Since President WEAH came to power, Liberia's net economic growth is zero. The economy is still sluggish, corruption is rampant, and after promising to create 1 million jobs, unemployment remains above 80%. Youth unemployment is higher than in 2017, and the exchange rate is high, with prices for every single commodity, from food to gas to tokafle, higher today than when President WEAH came to power. Stealing, lying, promising, taking no responsibility, lying again, promising again, and continuing the stealing are the mantras of this government as doctors, nurses, teachers, civil servants, police officers, and other servicemen and women who keep our society together are being grossly underpaid, with some, especially teachers, having to constantly protest for their harmonized pay. Every year, high schools, colleges, and universities, though restrained by limited resources, produce thousands of young graduates, all of them hopeful of a better life, only to see their dreams and futures crushed by the lack of jobs and opportunities. President WEAH's description of the state of the Liberian economy and the republic is not only patently false, it is insensitive, offensive, and disconnected, representing an alternative reality to the worsening hardships and deteriorating plight many Liberians are living through today. The president has failed and is now hoping to deceive Liberians with even more promises. It has been reported that out of 169 promises that the president has made, he has only kept 11, which is a score of 7% or an F. Obviously, President WEAH is good at making promises, but very bad at fulfilling them. My fellow citizens, our state is basically leaderless.
Obviously, George Manuel WEAH is good at making promises, but bad at fulfilling them. He is Alexander Benedict Cummings, the leader of the opposition Alternative National Congress. Cummings also moves on in that speech to talk about the unfortunate death of the CPP, the disintegration of the CPP. He tells Liberians that although the CPP may not make it to 2023 intact, you as a people and your desire for change is still there. We need not abandon that desire for change because we didn't get our favorite car. I mean, if you need to go to the hospital, if you're sick and you need to go to the hospital and your father's Mercedes-Benz is not available, certainly you can take a taxi. You can even take a cab to the hospital. What matters is that you get to the hospital and you get the treatment that you need. Liberia is dying under George Manuel WEAH. Our people, society cannot withstand another 6 years of a rotten economic policy that fills the pocket of few men whilst the rest of the country starved. We were so much further forward before George Manuel WEAH came to to make the country stagnant. And I like to talk to citizens. It's okay. It's okay that you trusted WEAH and you place your hope in him because you saw him as one of you. But it's not okay to continue to do that after you know that that's not the truth, that this man is not moving in the right direction. And I think CDCians understand that. That which brings me to my talking point. Three reasons why Alexander Benedict Cummings will be president in 2023. Take out your notebook, write it down. The three fundamental reasons why Cummings will be president. If you look at the 2017 electoral numbers, then there's no reason why Cummings should be trying to be president. If you just look at the numbers, where he came fifth with 112,000 votes. But if you take the numbers and you put it into the context of post-2017, so in 2017, there were 5 top politicians that, that Liberians rallied around. There was George WEAH, who came first. There was Joseph BOAKAI, who came second. There was Charles Walker Bromskin, who came third. And there was Prince Yomi Johnson, who came fourth. And then there was Alexander Benedict Cummings, who came fifth, as per the election results. Now, here's where things started to change. The Leonard Councillor of my beloved Liberty Party, unfortunately, passed, leaving the Liberty Party without a presidential face, with 150,000 votes floating. Then you have Prince Johnson, who, because of the timing of the 2023 elections, in 2023, Prince Yomi Johnson must decide whether he wants to run for the Senate or he wants to run to be president. Prince Johnson has ultimately chosen to run to be senator. Because he's running to be senator, that will leave another 150,000 votes floating. The Prince Johnson voters, the Bromskin voters, don't have their man on the ballot. The post-2017 context changes, the reasons why the dynamics have changed. So Bromskin unfortunately dies. Prince Johnson is removed from the competition because of the necessity of seeking senatorial re-election. Throws into uncertainty over 300,000 voters. They are now undecided. The people who voted for Prince Johnson twice, the people who voted for Bromskin twice, they now have nobody to vote for. They are there to be attracted by the best candidate in their decision. So if you add 300,000 votes to Cummings, 112,000 votes, you're talking about 400,000+ votes. Then let's talk about the defecting seditionists, because in the post-2017 context, we also have economic grievances. So immediately after the elections in 2018, a vacancy was created in the county of Montserrado because George WEAH was the Montserrado County senator. By being elected president, he created a vacuum that Sir Joseph of the CDC filled. Sir Joseph moved in. He won the first post-WEAH senatorial election to be held in Montserrado was won by a seditian. Fast forward to 2019. In 2019, in 2019, what happened was that Geraldine Doe Sharif, who was elected in 2011, in 2009, the first time she tried, she was elected standing for the CDC against Unity Party's Clemenceau Uri. That great battle between Unity Party and CDC ended with Geraldine Doe Sharif being named Senator of Montserrado. Geraldine Doe Sharif went on to leave the CDC. Geraldine Doe Sharif was facing Jordan Sheriff won in 2009. That was a by-election. In 2011, Jordan Sheriff kept the seat. I think it was Louis Garcia Brown who came second to Jordan Sheriff when he tried to be senator, because Jordan Sheriff came to power because of a by-election created by the death of Hannah Brandt. Hannah Brandt, elected to the Senate the first time in 2005 on the ticket of the CDC, had a sad passing, and in the wake of her demise, there was a vacancy created. Squeezing in there into that space was Jordan Sheriff, who managed to beat a lot of very strong contenders. The now deceased Alaji G.V. Krumah tried. I think he came fourth or so. You had the likes of Professor Wilson Tappe coming in third. Of course, Ibrahim Dawes Dillon, now Senator of Monserrado, came sixth place in that election. I'm mentioning this so that you understand the dynamics of a democratic politics. There's nothing stagnant in a democracy. The only thing that's constant in a democracy is change. People continuously change who they want, continuously change how they see the world. They continuously change how they see their own circumstances. They continuously change and adjust their views of people that they trusted with power. So let's go back to shifting realities in the post-2017 era. So in the post-2017 era, the first thing that happens that is of significance is that Charles Walker Bromskin dies. The next thing that happens that is of significance is that CDC starts to lose elections. CDC lost Monserrado County, their stronghold. They lost Monserrado County in 2019. They lost to Ibrahim Dawes Dillon, standing for a united opposition who had not come into a formal coalition but had started to affiliate. So the Unity Party, the ANC, the ALP, and the Liberty Party decided to back Ibrahim Dawes Dillon for the Senate. Ibrahim Dawes Dillon representing the opposition ticket, representing the grievances of the Liberian people, absolutely destroyed the CDC in Monserrado. The defeat of the CDC in its spiritual capital of Monserrado, the base of CDC, the home of the Congress for Democratic Change. They are disgracefully defeated for all to see that the decline of WEAH had started. In CDC districts, like district number 7, districts that CDC won comfortably in 2017, they started to slip. That election demonstrated that the love for George Manuel WEAH by the young, disenchanted, angry, lower classes, lower economic classes is not unconditional. That the democratic approval of George WEAH was not unconditional. I myself introduced the phrase into Liberian politics, the saying into Liberian politics in early 2018 when everyone was afraid to speak. When Henry Pedro Costa, with all the big mouth he makes today, that boy got big mouth, damn scared. He ran with his tail between his legs and ran to George WEAH looking for economic opportunities. He was shit scared to oppose George WEAH. People like us, we stood up. I introduced the line that popularity is a perishable commodity. Popularity is a perishable commodity. And indeed, George Manuel WEAH's popularity in Monserrado, certainly his political popularity in Monserrado, was not indestructible. After a year of commentary and protest, I, for one, participated in the 16 billion protest, the one before the June 7th, where we put George WEAH's feet to the fire. We laid bare the corruption of the WEAH administration. We told our people that no one has cursed us, that there was nobody working against our economic prosperity. But there's very people that we've elected to be in power. We took the fight to WEAH's doors. We systematically took apart his kleptocratic system of government. We exposed him as a political criminal, a political armed robber. And the people saw him for who he was, and it was a tragic moment. Imagine if the man behind the mask that robbed your home was actually your son. It is a painful thing. But the people of Monserrado, the WEAH supporters, decided to put themselves before WEAH. They decided that no, if we continue to vote for WEAH, he would think everything is okay. So let us not continue on that path. The great repentance of seditions, demonstrated in the elections result of 2019. And after the 2019 victory of the opposition candidates, CDC apologists came up with another strategy. They came up with a strategic explanation. CDC's strategic explanation was that there was a little bit of anger at the base of the CDC, that party stalwarts and party loyalists and party foot soldiers were disenchanted that they had not seen the fruits of democratic victory, and that they were temporarily rebelling, and that they will come back into the fold, the so-called let's go back under the sycamore tree. That trip under the sycamore tree never happens. And I like to point out to people every time I go by the CDC headquarters, when I'm driving on Tubman Boulevard, I like to point at the empty space that is the CDC compound that is more modernized, but empty democratically. The return of the sedition, the return of the sedition never occurred. CDC voters resisted the temptation of going back on their decision. So 1 year later, in 2020, when we tried again, during the special senatorial election, when we tried again for the seat, remember when they said Darius Dillon will be a vacation job senator, that he will be, he is doing vacation school, summer school. I've forgotten the exact words they used, that he was a 1 year senator. It turned out that the people's shift was permanent, that there was going to be no return of the sedition. I will take a short break. When I get back, I will lay out for you the 3 reasons why Alexander Benedict Cummings will be president in 2023. And in January of 2024, he will take the oath of office to fix the mess that WEAH has left behind and put Liberia on course to a brighter and more prosperous future. Right after this break.
WEAH pull it off again. Can the discredited footballer turned politician turned president secure a second term despite hardship and large defection of his youthful urban support base? His pivot to the interior, would that yield any fruit? Is division in the opposition enough for WEAH to clinch a second term? Join me, Menipake Dumoy, as I analyze the twists and turns on the Dumoy factor this and every weekday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Can George Manuel Weah pull it off again? Can the discredited footballer turned politician turned president secure a second term despite hardship and large defection of his youthful urban support base? His pivot to the interior, would that yield any fruit? Is division in the opposition enough for WEAH to clinch a second term? Join me, Menipake Dumoy, as I analyze the twists and turns on the Dumoy factor this and every weekday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Welcome back to you're following the Dumoy factor, and of course in the background is Hugh Masekela with Everything Must Change and Nothing Is Forever. Hugh Masekela, a South African musical legend, one of the men who sang apartheid away. He and Maria Makiba and Brenna Fassie and those great voices of freedom in South Africa, they musically destroyed an oppressive apartheid system. So I like to play Hugh Masekela every morning as I crisscross the issues here on the Dumoy factor. So we were discussing the post-2017 environment, which is for me the basis of saying that Alexander Benedict Cummings, the 5th placer of 2017, is the man
who will be victorious in 2020. Let's start with the first reason why Alexander Benedict Cummings will be president in 2023. Number one, Joseph Newman BOAKAI refused to unite the Unity Party. The Unity Party, the party that came second to the CDC, George Manuel WEAH picked up around 500,000 votes. Joseph BOAKAI came second with 400,000 votes, utilizing the machinery of the Unity Party. And the loyal Unity Party voters. That there was that Unity Party voting base that had been built since 1997. There are people who voted for Unity Party since 1997 and never looked back. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf helped build that, that base of voters. And so what happens? After the election, the post-2017 environment, where we thought Joseph Newman BOAKAI coming second will consolidate his position by uniting his own party and attracting the opposition to support him to clinch the presidency. What Joseph Newman BOAKAI went on to do was not what Joseph Newman BOAKAI went on. Sorry, I'm having a technical issue here. I will resolve it.
George Manuel WEAH pull it off again. Can the discredited footballer turned politician turned president secure a second term despite hardship and large defection of his youthful urban support base? His pivot to the interior, would that yield any fruit? Is division in the opposition enough for WEAH?
Sorry there, I had to make some quick adjustments. So very quickly, Joseph Newman BOAKAI's mission after the defeat of the Unity Party was to, number one, reunite the party. Number two, understand the reasons for which Liberians had rejected the Unity Party. They started on that course. They called a meeting in Buchanan to take stock of 2017, to try and decide why the party lost. One of the things that came out of there was division in the party. They suspected that some partisans had done double dealings with the WEAH administration. Joseph Newman BOAKAI has always said that it was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf who stopped him being president. But what did he do in response? He moved to purge the party, to get rid of Sirleaf's people deemed to be close to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, to deepen the rift, deepen the division in his own party. So the Unity Party is splitting like the Red Sea. The Unity Party today is a divided party that is presided over by a senile 79-year-old man that makes all sorts of wrong turns and has ended up doing business with George Manuel WEAH, something that discredits he and the Unity Party in the view of the majority of Liberians. Because the vast majority of the Liberian people want to see change in Liberia. Vast majority of Liberian people want to see George Manuel WEAH go. And to see Joseph Newman BOAKAI volunteering to be state witness, volunteering to help to tear down the CPP, to see that Joseph Newman BOAKAI ridiculously failed to unite a four-parties bloc, but is promising to unite and reconcile a country of 16 tribes and various political and religious backgrounds. This is a task that Joseph Newman BOAKAI is clearly not cut for. Under the leadership of Joseph Newman BOAKAI, we are witnessing the disintegration of the CPP on his watch. And so Joseph Newman BOAKAI has discredited himself. He's kept the Unity Party divided. Therefore, he has handed Alexander Cummings the chance of leading the opposition. Even if there were to be a 3-horse race, BOAKAI will not come second. Why? Because Joseph Newman BOAKAI will be running on half of the Unity Party. So in 2017, there were rumors of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf not supporting Joseph Newman BOAKAI, but Ellen attended several major rallies. There were only rumors. But in 2023, it is clearly known that Joseph Newman BOAKAI doesn't care about Ellen, and the party is divided. He's going his way with half of the Unity Party. Half of the Unity Party. That is not going to be enough for him to enter a second round. With half of the Unity Party, Joseph Newman BOAKAI is going nowhere. Now, let's move on to the second reason. So the first reason why Cummings can be president is because Joseph Newman BOAKAI and the Unity Party have ceded their position to Cummings. They have divided the party, while has grown his party with massive defections coming in from everywhere and joining the ANC. Key political actors changing sides and joining the ANC. The support of the Liberty Party, all of that has started to increase the chances of Cummings as compared to Joseph Newman BOAKAI. BOAKAI is running with half of the Unity Party. Of course, the second reason why Cummings will be president is WEAH's failure to address the economic grievances of Liberians. Today, if you go to the executive mansion, the thinking there is not that they're going to fix the economy and win because they will fix the economy. The thinking there is that because the opposition is divided, that they will automatically win, which is not true, is incorrect. A divided opposition does not automatically translate into WEAH's victory. Just as a divided Unity Party, a divided CDC, a divided opposition in 2017 did not lead to Unity Party victory, a divided opposition in 2023 will not lead to an automatic incumbent victory. Let's go back over it. The opposition in 2017 was divided. Liberty Party, Charles Walker Bromsky ran separately. Alexander Benedict Cummings ran separately. Why didn't the Unity Party win? Because grievances in society at the Unity Party's failures and at Unity Party's inability to address some social issues, social economic issues, and people felt that the Unity Party had ran its course. Okay, so grievances in society are more important than divisions in political blocks. And so WEAH failure to address the economic concerns of his constituents, of the urban dwellers, is what's going to lead to his demise. And he's not addressing it. In his last speech, and we listened to Alexander Benedict Cummings talk about how the president basically was not truthful, which means, Cummings is the leader, he has to speak presidential. I don't have that responsibility on this program. So I can tell you very clearly, the president lied. They made him lie. He lies all the time. WEAH lies. I will tell you a story. When I used to know WEAH, where WEAH claimed that he knew the UN special representative, UN Secretary General special representative to Liberia. WEAH told us that lie. That's a lie he didn't have to tell us. Okay? The man told me, he said, the staff in the guy's office, my boss was very embarrassed because when he met WEAH, and WEAH made this claim that he knew him and they have been working together forever. WEAH is the guy who tells unnecessary lies. Then talk less of the fact that his back is against the wall. So WEAH's entire address doesn't tell me that the government know their position. Knowing the problem is half the solution. You cannot solve a problem if you don't think that there is a problem. So WEAH thinks that everything is on course and that the opposition is divided. He's going to win. Bam. He is going to still have that angry base stretching across the bridge. We're talking about the whole Nukutan, Claratown, Vata area that used to be big CDC land shifting under him in 2023. I told you, the CDC apologists, the CDC strategists, they always try to explain away the warning signs. So you have symptoms of malaria. Your head is hurting, your mouth tastes bitter, you're throwing up, you are feeling the symptoms, but someone is telling you you don't have malaria. You don't have malaria. That's what's happening to George WEAH. You are losing election in your stronghold. You are losing election in areas where you used to win without even visiting. You are winning election. You are losing elections in places where you didn't even have to visit, but you will win. Now you even pay them and they still vote against you. There's warning signs on the dashboard. When WEAH's CDC lost in 2019, what's her name was blamed for it. Paulita Ware, they said she was inexperienced. She didn't have a base, and that was why the party struggled to get her elected. And seditionists were angry because they didn't have jobs. What happened? In 2020, they poured money on the street. There was 500 LD notes everywhere. They paid the masses, but the masses didn't deliver. The masses took the bribe and voted their conscience. They voted to express anger. They voted for the opposition. And let me tell George WEAH, the masses has checked out. The people are filing for divorce. This is a marriage without benefits for them. And that is how the CDC cabal continues to deceive WEAH. First they say, the people just vexed because they didn't get a job. Then in 2020, when what's his name lost, when Thomas Fowler was brought on board and they spent millions of LD, hundreds of millions of LD, after all that expenditure and they still lost, they said the people in the city, the opposition is always winning the city. So now we are going to head to the interior. That's why he took government money. He took money that should pay civil servants, money that he should use to run the hospitals. He took it and bought a lot of pickups, brand new pickups and motorbikes. Now, if I am a chief and I have that pickup and I put my wife in that pickup and she needs to give birth, she has a minor complication, and we take her to a hospital and there's not a single drug there. There are no doctors there to look after my wife, and my wife dies, and I have that pickup. Will I still vote for George WEAH because I had a pickup? No. So he has been childish. He's been politically foolish. He's miscalculating. He's not addressing the needs of his people. And so Cummings is going to capture the defecting WEAH voters. Why are the defecting WEAH voters going to go the way of Cummings? Because they already know Joseph Newman BOAKAI. They were under him for 12 years. They didn't see him stand up when there was corruption. They know that Joseph Newman BOAKAI signed 64 bogus concession agreements. They don't trust him. He doesn't have policy credentials. He doesn't have policy credibility. You lack policy credibility when you tell lies about policies and you fail to fulfill policies, then you don't have policy credibility. To have policy credibility, you must make promises and keep them. People who have ran and never won have policy credibility because they've never been given the chance to try. WEAH lacks policy credibility now. He cannot run on promises. He must run on results. Incumbents run on results, not on promises. You know, you can't lie to your wife like you lied to a girlfriend or a new person you just met. We almost like we are wife. We are